Oh, it's fudgy. Feels really good.
I refuse to acknowledge Christmas is over, so let's do one last Christmas baking. That is crinkle cookies. For the most part, this recipe is pretty simple. You just mix the cocoa powder with all the wet ingredients first and then sift in the dry and mix that in. But what drew me to this recipe was the use of oil. I have never used oil in cookies before. I'm more familiar using it in cakes. By nature of it being liquid at room temperature, it tends to make cakes more moist. And I wonder if it has a similar effect for these cookies. This is my first time making crinkle cookies ever, by the way, but they look like they should be fudgy cookies. I'm aware that there are butter-based crinkle cookie recipes. I hear that it makes the edges of the cookies more crispy. But one problem that people have faced is the butter yellowing the sugar coating. And I'm sorry, but I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Nobody wants yellow snow. Especially on something that you're about to eat. Anyways, after chilling in the fridge for 2 hours, I portioned 40 grams per cookie and rolled them in some icing sugar. Which, by the way, there's no clean way to do this, is there? The dough melted so quickly in my hands, it just stuck everywhere. I do apologize for the doo-doo on my hands, but I was also battling time because I noticed the sugar dissolving on some of the ones I rolled earlier, and it was becoming quite patchy. But look at them go in the oven. Aw, yay. I'm quite happy with how they turned out, actually. They're really cute and perfectly crinkled. I do worry about the sweetness though. It's literally coated in sugar.
Oh no, I just created crater.
But yeah, don't attempt to brush off the excess after it's baked.
Let's try. I really like the texture. The middle part especially is quite fudgy. I still do wish there was a bit of a richer taste. Same issue I have with oil-based cakes. Oil makes it feel softer, but it doesn't give the same richness as butter does. I do want to try a butter one next time. I'm not a fan of the sugary outside though. It tastes like Cocoa Crunch.
Which is probably also why I preferred it drenched in milk.
It's perfect.
I also saw a comment suggesting to avoid sugar at the bottom, so I tried that on one of the cookies.
It's soft.
Versus one of the other ones.
There's a hard, sugary crust.
Personally for me though, there wasn't a big enough impact on flavor or texture to warrant the effort taken to avoid one spot. I do think it's a good way to lessen the sugar though. I was also curious to know if it could keep the snowy look over the next few days. Or maybe the sugar would just dissolve.
I kept it in the fridge and 2 days later, surprisingly, it is not that patchy. These are really fantastic fudgy cookies. Just want to replace the outside with something else. ChatGPT suggested cocoa powder. I'm worried that it might be too bitter. Another suggestion was to use milk powder, and that's an interesting concept. I think that would be so good. I think this is a really good recipe. I would make it again. Maybe a different flavor. I've heard of lemon crinkle cookies and those sound superb. I'm going to try those definitely.
So I'll see you in the next bake. Bye!